Rainollon here. Today is yet again another build showcase, and it's the Coda Tysis. So, let us immediately start. Let's start with the mods. The mods I'm using on my Coda Tysis, I'm using Frostbite for cold and chance, Pistol Pestilence for toxin chance, toxin cold gives you viral. The weapon comes with corrosion. I also have heat from prime heater charge, and my Coda element is also heat, which gives me a ton of heat. If you have the magnetic one, that's also good. Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot, Galvanized Shot for stat chance to direct damage per stat on target, Prime Target Cracker for critical damage, Merciless Gunfight for more critical damage and 1.2 punch through, Semi-Pistol Cannonade locks your fire rate so you can't increase your fire rate or decrease your fire rate, gives you a lot of increased damage and 1.5 punch through. And you will ask, this weapon has a locked punch through? No, it doesn't. The locked punch through only affects the AoE explosion from this weapon. It does not affect the projectile. So your weapon shoots a dart that goes through enemies, but the explosion only hits the first enemy that you hit, So the punch through does work on the dart, on the projectile, but doesn't work on the AoE. So this is a massive, I will say a lie, I wish they fixed this, make like two types of punch throughs, one for your projectile and the other one for the AoE, so you will know, but yeah, this is a misinformation here. So those are the mods. For the Exos Weapon Adaptive Slot mods, I will highly recommend for you to go is no joke, Prime Steady Hands or Steady Hands to remove the recoil. The weapon does have a minor recoil, even if you use like a fire rate mod and you remove this for Hornet Strike, for example. The weapon has a really annoying recoil, and this is going to fix it entirely. You can also go Lethal Momentum for projectile speed. This is a projectile weapon, but I think the projectile speed on this weapon is quite fast, so it's all up to you. I will say Steady Hands is just much better. For the Arcane Secondary Enervate, it has a very low base critical chance, so Enervate kind of likes that. On hit, increases your critical chance by 10%. It's a flat critical chance, resets after 6 big critical hits. So we're going to shoot once or twice, we're going to generate a ton of Enervate stacks, and yeah, you're going to see orange and yellow crits quite easy. So that's the Arcane. For the stats, the fire rate is locked on 2.5. The fire rate is really bad. Even if you add like a fire rate mod, it's still like slow. So I just ignore fire rate and put Semi-Pistol Cannonade, and this is going to like help you a ton more, in my opinion. I think it's just much better than jamming like fire rate mods. Magazine size is good. Maximum ammo from pickup is amazing. Reload speed is very fast. Accuracy is very high. It's a semi. That's why we can use Semi-Pistol Cannonade. Punch through is locked here. This is the AoE, not the projectile. Riven Display is really bad. I will not recommend, and don't ask. It's not good. Critical chance is bad, but Secondary Enervate likes that, so that's good. Crit multi is good. Stat chance is amazing. Has one of the highest stat chance secondaries in the entire game. And total damage is also really good. So those are the stats. The mods, the Arcane. And I think it's time for me to show you this weapon in game. I'm going to use Coda Tysis. No melee, no primary, no Sentinel Dog or Cat. Just Ember. She's just going to be there for me to like survive. And Coda Tysis. That's it. So let us immediately start. And we are finally in. I'm up against the corrupted enemies, the Void, Steel Path, of course. It's survival. No buffs or armor strip. The map's called mod. And as you can see right here, the single target against these units, you won't tap them. Even if they somehow survive, you'll definitely proc a couple of stacks of heat, viral, corrosion, or whatever. You can see right there, it's like he's burning to death. The next shot is definitely going to kill him. Especially if you definitely use a buffer Warframe or some sort of buff, they're going to die even in one hit. And you don't even have to rely on the stats effect. The punch through does work on this weapon. A lot of people, like me myself, didn't know that it does work. So the lock punch through system, like I said, is telling you that the AoE doesn't punch through, but the projectile does, which is very weird. Very weird. I hope they change it, make it like you can see the punch through on your projectile and the lock punch through on your AoE, so people know they can build this thing for punch through. There are a ton of weapons that have this problem. Kind of wish they fix it, add a new UI for it or something, But this weapon truly needs some sort of clear, and punch through is like the only thing it has. The AoE, this weapon has is just non-existent. So if I were to shoot the floor next to this guy, you can see that the AoE doesn't do anything. This AoE only works when you directly hit enemies. And when you directly hit enemies, it will instantaneously apply another layer of damage, another layer of proccing some random element, like corrosion, or slash, heat, or whatever, you know. It's very weird. It has a locked feature that tells you that it has an AoE, but it doesn't really have an AoE because the AoE only works on the first enemy you hit, and it's just heavy misinformation. I just wish they fix it. This secondary does have, it's in the family of the highest stash chance base secondaries. It's next to the Epitaph Prime and the Kuwa Nukor, which is also 50% base stash chance. That's really good. So you can turn this thing into a primer if you want. From one shot you can proc a bunch of elements. It works. But I will say the Nukor, the Epitaph, and the Compressor are much better primers than this thing. Alright, this is War. Let's see against War. Status on War isn't really that mind-blowing, but it's surprisingly doing some solid damage. Yep, heat, all those heat procs did annihilate him. Shoot up, need to reload. Nice thing about this weapon, even if it shoots like extremely slow, I did test this thing with a large amount of fire rate, with a fire rate Warframe. It helps, but believe me, the base fire rate on this thing is just not worth it for you to build it for fire rate. Just build it for high damage so your shot like instantaneously kills instead of you shooting a couple of times at one enemy. Boop, boop. Let's see where the Acolyte is. Let me use my third ability. There we go. I have to kill this thing. It's a very weird weapon. It's a overall solid single targeter. I did some minor testing with this thing. It's a solid single target secondary. It doesn't look like it can do a lot of damage, but it does. Like absolutely solid damage, especially with the enervate setup above 5x with multi and has a really high base damage compared to most secondaries. You can like do some solid single target damage against like tankier enemies. But yeah, when it comes to clearing, non-existent. The punch just helps, that's it. Where is my Acolyte? I'm lonely. Boop, boop. If they ever bring a Coda Tysis magnetic, I will advise you to switch to magnetic. Or maybe you already format this thing 5 times. You can like switch it to magnetic. Magnetic is quite good now, especially after the magnetic changes. Now affects the overguard enemies, breaking the overguard quicker. And also when you break overguard and shields, you also apply electricity, which is another element, which Galvanized Shot kinda likes that. You will do more damage. It's kinda like very, very nice. Where is the Acolyte? How is this possible? That's the heavy gunner. Oh, the Acolyte didn't spawn. Sedge. At least I killed War, so I can't really complain. I think I've shown you this weapon enough. So it's time for me to leave. I'll be right back. The Coda Tysis is a usable secondary. Nothing mind-blowing. It's a solid single target. It has clear with punch through, bunch of status effect. You can crit with enervate, high crit multi, high base damage. You can switch the element as much as you want. You can change to heat, you can change to magnetic, you can change to radiation. It's all up to you. It's a usable weapon, I will say. It's a solid overall single targeter. That's the build. I hope you enjoyed the build. Thank you yet again everybody for watching. Leave a like, sub, and of course, see you all next time. Thank you. Goodbye.